Story 1. Start taking your seasonal allergy medications at least 1 month before you actually need them. Thank you to the random stranger who told me that over 10 years ago. I haven't had a bad season since. Story 2. For any non-violent conflict, treat the problem as the enemy. The other individuals involved in the conflict can be your greatest allies in overcoming the issue. Many people struggle with effective communication, and when you can facilitate discussions, it helps everyone feel better, leading to respectful resolution of issues. Story 3. You would be surprised by what people will do for you if you just ask. My mother emphasized that you won't get what you don't ask for, so I grew up with a lot of practice in asking for what I wanted. When I applied this in the real world, people were often shocked at how simply asking for something nicely can lead to getting exactly that. Story 4. Compliment people. Not every time you see them, but occasionally. Be sincere about it. They will be happy, and they will treat you nicer, which will make you happier as well. Story 5. When you have tradespeople at your house to do a job, remember that they are people too and be hospitable. I asked our plumber if he wanted coffee or a pastry since I had some, and he did not charge me the $500 to clear a drain. He thanked me and said, "People do not always remember we are people too." I offered muffins I was going to throw away to our building intercom repair technicians, and they gave me a 10% discount. I am not suggesting you should expect these things, just that people appreciate consideration and will sometimes reciprocate. Story 6. Lower the resistance to the things you want to do. Want to study for 15 minutes? Tell yourself you'll start with just 1 minute. Then, at the 1-minute mark, decide if you want to keep going. Chances are you will. Inertia is a powerful force. Use it to your advantage. Story 7. Listen. Just listen. People enjoy talking, and you will learn a lot about who they really are, whether that is positive or negative. Story 8. Thankful people receive more. More invitations, more gifts, more of everything. Take 5 seconds to thank your friend for inviting you over or for helping out. Just 5 seconds of effort. Story 9. I am a bouncer at a club. People often react negatively when I do not let them in because they forgot their identification or it has expired. I have started saying, "I understand, but that person," I point to a random patron near the door inside the club, "works for the Liquor Control Board. He is currently monitoring everything I do closely. His partner might have a fake identification or an expired one. So just be aware." 99.9999% of the time, this immediately diffuses the situation while eliminating the excuse of, "Nobody is going to know," and the person leaves without any trouble. Story 10. When you need stubborn little kids to do something, do you want to put on your unicorn coat or your flower coat? The illusion of choice does wonders. Story 11. If you are looking at something like a hotel or a flight, call them directly. For example, I usually look on travel websites to see a room for $100 a night. I call the hotel directly and say, "I found a promotion for a room at $100 a night. I would prefer to give the money to you rather than to the website. Is there anything you can do?" More often than not, if you are kind and understanding, they may apply a discount or promotion. The last few hotels I stayed at offered me state government rates with free upgrades. Pays to be nice. Story 12. Treating retail workers, wait staff, or customer support personnel nicely will increase the chances of them making exceptions for you. Story 13. Asking people to take an extra step before you assist them greatly reduces unnecessary requests. For example, "I will resend the file you cannot find. Can you please tell me the date I sent it to you so I can locate the email?" They have to search for the email and find the file themselves in the process. This approach works well with unmotivated coworkers or students. Story 14. Not sure if this is a cheat code, but I will share it regardless. Whenever my anxiety starts getting the better of me, such as thinking you're not good at your job, I do something I call gathering evidence. For example, regarding the thought of being not good at my job, I will ask myself, has your manager given you any feedback that supports this idea? Do people at work trust your judgment? Do your colleagues, clients, or customers respect you? Generally, The evidence will outweigh or disprove any thoughts that my anxiety is pushing onto me, which definitely helps to reduce it. Story 15. Doing it poorly is an option, whatever it may be. Look at how many ineffective managers there are in workplaces everywhere. Go for that promotion. You could be an ineffective manager earning over £44,000. Is the floor dirty? Clean it poorly, better than not cleaning it at all. Does the dog need a walk, but you're tired? A bad walk is better than none. Afraid of starting kung fu? Consider being inexperienced at it first. Story 16. Do not take criticism from someone you would not seek out for advice. Criticism from trusted individuals is valuable. You can reduce mental turmoil and anxiety by considering the source. If you would not consult a person for guidance, why trust their negative remarks? Story 17. Give restaurant and food apps random dates for your birthday. Do you really want 37 different free appetizers or desserts on your actual birthday? Spread them out throughout the year. It's always your birthday somewhere. Story 18. Promotion within many organizations is often more about who you know than the demonstration of competence. While competence is important, it is essential to build relationships with the right people to advance in your career. You may call it networking, but it's important to acknowledge that we are relational beings, influenced by our connections, and developing rapport can significantly impact our success. Story 19. Being kind to strangers, especially retail workers, is important. Treat them as human beings with empathy. You would be surprised how many times in life you will benefit from this kindness. Story 20. Use a virtual private network, Firefox, and private browsing when shopping for an expensive item or service from large companies. Often, you'll get a much better deal. Story 21. Ask bartenders how they are doing and genuinely listen to their answer. People often complain to them about their days, but not many actually care about how bartenders are doing. I receive many complimentary drinks this way. Story 22. At any grocery store, if you do not have a rewards account, simply enter the local area code followed by 867-5309. Story 23. If physically possible, lift weights. No, you won't look like a mass monster after touching a weight for the first time. No, you won't injure yourself as long as you learn how to do it safely and correctly. No, no one in the gym is judging you or staring at you, and even if they were, ignore them. Instead, if you remain consistent, you will get stronger and be more capable when handling daily routine tasks. Strength training has been shown to reduce depression, increase longevity and quality of life, and boost overall confidence. Make it a part of your daily routine and reap those benefits. Story 24. I found a suggestion on Reddit years ago that worked for me the few times I tried it. Bring presents for flight attendants, such as cookies, candy, or gift cards from your workplace. They provide a valuable service and do not receive tips, yet they often have a thankless job. Plan ahead and bring something they can all share. It will enhance your flight experience. They may provide food, drinks, or an open seat in a better area of the plane. You could mention that you have a friend who is a flight attendant, explaining your motivation. Flying will be a better experience, I promise. Even if none of this happens, you will still have done something nice for people who rarely receive appreciation. Story 25. If you're not a car enthusiast, you can still fix some things on your vehicle with YouTube videos. I took apart my console the other day to address a shifter problem and saved myself $600. Of course, it took me 5 times as long as it was supposed to, but I have more time than money. Story 26. Selective caring. My stress levels have improved significantly over the past 6 years because I decided to stop investing energy in the internet and social media. Now my focus is on my immediate family and our personal goals. I have no idea what my extended family is doing every day, and I don't see everyone's opinions about every tiny issue. I have never been happier. This approach works in everyday interactions as well. I have a coworker who likes to go off on various conspiracy theories every week, but he stopped bringing it up to me because I simply say, I don't care. Did you finish that project I sent you? Focusing my energy on things I actually have control over has been truly liberating. Story 27. Cut extremely toxic people out of your life. The sooner, the better for your mental and emotional well-being. Story 28. If anyone tries to sell you something for your home, such as security systems, solar panels, or roofing services, just tell them you rent. They will leave immediately. Story 29. Mirroring and reflecting is an effective technique used in communication. When someone says, "I have been waiting for an hour for transportation to show up," I might respond, "You've been waiting for an hour for transportation?" If they reply, "Yes, and those incompetent people haven't even called me," I would then ask, "They haven't called you? Okay, let's see if we can resolve the issue. What company is it?" The person might respond, "It's XYZ. They always do this to me." I would follow up with, "XYZ always does this to you? Let's contact them and see if we can find out what's wrong." 99% of the time, I can help defuse the situation. Story 30. Saying please and thank you and generally being polite helps me manage many situations that I shouldn't be able to navigate. Story 31. The moment you are rude to someone trying to help you is the moment they stop trying to assist you. I worked in customer service for almost a decade. If you are kind to me, I will go out of my way to help you. If you are unpleasant, you will receive the response, "There's nothing else I can do." Story 32. Do not attribute behavior to maliciousness when it could be incompetence instead. Some people simply do not know or are not very smart. Story 33. If you want to attend a football game, try bringing a xylophone and say you're part of the marching band. Band parent for 8 years. Story 34. People think I am a technology expert. I have some knowledge when it comes to technology. When I encounter a new problem with a PC, for example, I search for information online. It is likely that I am not the first person to face this issue. This also applies to car problems and household issues. Story 35. Got invited to something you don't want to do or can't attend. Don't offer an explanation as to why you can't go. Just say, "Sorry, I can't make it." If you provide an explanation, it can be challenged. You have to take care of your children? Can't you hire a babysitter? You have another commitment? Can't you reschedule that? No is a complete sentence. Story 36. Don't bring a problem to the table. Bring a solution. It tends to be received much better, especially when the problem is your responsibility. "Hey, I noticed the issue, and I thought we could implement a strategy to help mitigate it. Does that sound good?" This sounds far better than just saying, "There is an issue." Story 37. I try to be nice to people and sometimes make them laugh. I don't do it for free things or discounts, but occasionally it results in a small discount or a free drink, donut, or something else small. I enjoy making people laugh, especially those who deal with customers all day. They endure enough stress and appreciate a few chuckles to break up the monotony. Story 38. Take notes on everything, on the personalities of people at work and what they have told you about themselves, on the steps of the project you are doing with your significant other, on veterinarian and doctor visits, on the books you read, and on your exercise or mental health journey. Taking notes trains you to be more observant and ask more questions about what you are doing, which means you pay more attention and perform better. Even when you cannot remember something, if you say, "Hang on, let me check my notes," it is as good as if you had remembered, and people treat you like you are a lifesaver. There is a reason the Field Notes motto is, "I am not writing it down to remember it later. I am writing it down to remember it now." Story 39. When driving somewhere with multiple vehicles, I prefer to be the vehicle in front. I ask the other driver, "Should I lead, or do you want to follow?" Nobody has caught on yet. Story 40. Having a good reputation at work allows you to maintain a favorable impression as an employee. At a new job, go above and beyond for the first month. Complete any tasks assigned to you with maximum effort and promptness. Take on responsibilities that others may avoid. Arrive early and stay late within reason, such as 10 minutes. Avoid complaining about anything. After that month, everyone will perceive you as a star employee, as expectations are often low. From that point on, even if you become less diligent or make mistakes, people will continue to view you positively because that is how they have come to see you. Story 41. There are many things that, to many, seem like a cheat code, One type of cheat code I used is simply asking or telling people what's going on, and it will be completely fine 99.99999% of the time. Many people and processes rely on you not asking or speaking up. Hey, I remember you from so-and-so, but I'm terrible with names. What was it again? They tell you their name. Thank you, I'm awful with that. What are you up to lately? If you happen to recall a last name, you can say Johnson, right? Why am I spacing on the first name? This makes it appear as though it's just temporary forgetfulness rather than not knowing who they are. Like when I was at the dealership buying my car. Thank you for explaining that, but you mentioned a policy and previously noted something about it. Can you break it down like I'm 5 and jot down the final question? I didn't care how long it took or how foolish I looked. My girlfriend is quiet and passive and will never speak up. She was trying to get a follow-up doctor appointment after a significant cardiac event that required prompt evaluation. I had to lay the groundwork to get the nurses to call her back. They initially offered her an appointment almost 3 weeks out. I encouraged her on the phone to confirm this was the earliest appointment and to express that she really needed to be seen. One moment. We can get you in next week, Tuesday. She simply asked. She didn't demand anything or change her tone. She just asked, and she can be seen 2 weeks earlier. Story 42, Manners. May I? Please. Thank you. No, thank you. My pleasure / you're welcome. Hello. Goodbye. Manners translate to empathy. Manners imply consideration and respect. Story 43. You can end an unpleasant phone conversation by talking and then hanging up. No one suspects that you would end the call yourself. Story 44. When moving through a crowd of people at night, especially at a festival or club, bring a small flashlight and hold it with your arm up and in front of you, with the light pointed down. I've noticed that people naturally move aside, often thinking it's security. This method quickly provides you with space and minimal resistance. Story 45. Don't know if works is the right word unless having peace of mind is valuable. People think about you far less than you imagine. Nobody remembers or probably even noticed that embarrassing thing you said, that your socks are slightly different shades of black, or that your hair was kind of off one day. Story 46. My professor told me to always apply for jobs even if you are not looking. You know better what opportunities are available. Story 47. If you can't fall asleep, just close your eyes and relax. Allow your eyes to start moving quickly as if you are in rapid eye movement sleep. I believe this kickstarts the sleep process, and soon you will be asleep. Sometimes your brain feels both awake and asleep at the same time, but you are lightly paralyzed and can only move if you really try, essentially waking yourself up fully. Story 48. Having a quick and easy smoothie for breakfast led to unintentional weight loss. I usually just had coffee for breakfast. By lunchtime, I would be starving and tend to overeat. The perfect breakfast smoothie is simple and requires minimal cleanup. Story 49. Ask questions. 1. Especially when you are talking to people. Inquire about what they do, what they like, and how they are. It's the best and easiest way to make friends and have people like you. 2. Always ask when you don't know the answer or how to do something. It's easy to feel nervous about not knowing something and appearing weak or foolish, but asking actually makes you seem smarter because it's the quickest way to solve the problem. Story 50. Progressive overload in athletic pursuits and compound interest in financial pursuits is the closest thing to real-life magic. Story 51. Be the person who starts things. Is the buffet fully stocked with the lids off, and is everyone standing around waiting to be told it is okay to start serving themselves? Be the one to grab a plate and start the line moving. Story 52. Fake it till you make it. I was making 6 figures without a college degree. Confidence can really take you many places in life. This is coming from someone with social anxiety. You really need to get in the headspace of pretending you are someone else, the person you want to be. Story 53. Not having children makes life easier. To clarify, children are not a substitute for a nursing home. You cannot have children solely for the purpose of having someone to care for you in old age. Many parents die alone in nursing homes. Having a child does not ensure you will have a companion in old age. They will have their own lives. Make some friends so you're not relying on your child when you feel lonely. Story 54. Walking leads to weight loss. You don't need to go to the gym, you just need to move more. To lose weight, you don't require pills or injections. Focus on diet and exercise. Consume fewer calories and aim to walk for an hour a day. Walking for an hour at a steady pace allows you to complete around 8,000 steps, which is sufficient for slow, gradual weight loss. To burn more fat, strive to increase your step count. Walking 16,000 steps a day while avoiding overeating will help you lose weight. Furthermore, prioritize sleep. I used to struggle to sleep for a full 8 hours, but now that I do, I snack less and feel better. Many fitness coaches emphasize that sleep is essential for overall health, as it is when your body performs maintenance. I received a smartwatch in January, and the accountability of tracking my sleep, weight, and exercise has helped transform my life. Regardless of your appearance, you feel better when you are not carrying extra weight. No matter your emotional state, you will feel better when you get enough sleep. Story 55. Pre-shredded cheese is convenient, but the anti-clumping powder makes it difficult to achieve a smooth cheese sauce. Most recipes recommend grating your own cheese. However, this adds an extra step, and cleaning a grater can be a hassle. Consider using sliced cheese instead. It is usually the same price as block cheese, does not contain the powder, and can be easily torn by hand into small pieces that melt well. At the deli counter, you can also purchase the exact amount of different types of cheese if you are preparing a blend. Story 56. I arrived at a bar with a deck of cards. The bartender would offer complimentary drinks when I performed tricks. Other customers would buy me drinks and often teach me a trick. The new trick would likely earn me a drink from the next person. Story 57. I learned this while dealing with university administration. Ask for things in person. It is really easy to ignore or decline an email, but it is much harder to say no to someone face-to-face. While waiting in their office can be frustrating, it is more likely to lead to success. Story 58. If I need to get rid of something big that doesn't attract any interest on marketplace apps and websites, and nobody picks it up from the street, I take down the free sign and put a new sign on it with a fabricated dollar amount. Every time I've done this, someone always takes it, believing they are actually stealing it from me. I have done it with 2 crack tubs, 2 couches, a big screen television, and a refrigerator. Each time, these items were sitting outside for days or weeks, but after adding a fake dollar amount, they were all gone within hours. I got rid of all these items for free instead of paying to have them hauled away or renting a truck to take them to a charity or the dump. It's somewhat disheartening how effectively this works. Story 59. I don't have time to read all the comments, but after making it through at least 80, I didn't see these. So I'll share a couple of tips I learned while in college. When asking for help, particularly on something that people don't really want to go the extra mile for, or to provide solutions that require more work, for example, asking about getting into a full class, alternatives to poor lab times, or even when facing a college rejection letter, ask what options are available. Instead of, are there any options? Often, it's easy to say no when it's a viable answer, even if it's not necessarily correct. Asking, what options are available to do X? Being specific enough without boxing yourself in encourages the other person to think about the problem and possible workarounds. It won't always work, but sometimes it does. This method helped a friend get past a rejection letter from a university. Rules, deadlines, and barriers should often, not always, don't miss important deadlines that others take seriously. Be viewed as potential roadblocks that allow you to prove your determination. They're not always dead ends. Use common sense when trying to apply this rule. I got into graduate school by talking to the right people and asking the right questions. Each time I encountered a roadblock, for instance, my grade point average was low. I asked those who said no who I should talk to and what options were available to overcome these barriers. If they are arbitrary, there are usually some built-in loopholes or flexibilities that can be accessed if you demonstrate that it's worth their time to show you how. Story 60. I deleted all social media except for Reddit. I realized I don't care about what people I went to school with are posting on Facebook, what nonsense is trending on TikTok, or what fake Instagram posts people share to portray their perfect lives. I have become much happier with myself and more content by not feeling pressured to keep up with trends or wasting time scrolling through meaningless content. I also pay little attention to any news outlets because they are mostly negative and designed to make you anxious and worried all the time. My mental health has greatly improved, as have my relationships with the people I care about. Story 61. When you need to confirm an appointment date, phrase the question as, would you like to meet Wednesday at noon? Or would Thursday at 2 p.m. work better? Story 62. My company is completely remote after COVID-19. More often than not, when my development team would meet virtually to solve a problem, we would find the answer while explaining the issue. It often felt like we were wasting someone else's time. To address this, we each keep rubber ducks on our desks to talk through problems. If we still cannot figure it out, we reach out to another developer for assistance. Story 63. Quick and healthy breakfast. Set the coffee maker the night before to finish brewing when your alarm goes off. In a large cup, add a couple of ice cubes, then pour in the coffee to cool it slightly and prevent clumping. Add 1 scoop of your favorite flavored protein powder and stir. I use Isopure Vanilla, which gives the coffee a taste similar to something expensive from a cafe. It contains 25 grams of protein, is almost instantly ready, and costs about $1.50 to $2 per day. I feel full for 4 to 6 hours with this alone. Story 64. Sometimes people do not call large companies because they think their voice will not matter. This is especially true with sports teams. This probably would not hold true with the Los Angeles Lakers or the New York Knicks, but I have spoken to the last 4 general managers of my local National Football League team enough that I am on a first-name basis with them. I simply called, found their number in the directory, and left a message. They quickly called back, listened to my concerns, and we talked. We continued to communicate, and they all provided me with their personal cell phone numbers. I regularly interact with them about team-related matters that are important to me as a fan, and they value my feedback. Story 65. Address older ladies as Miss instead of Ma'am. I have used this approach in every customer service job I have had, and the older ladies appreciated it. Story 66. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Save yourself 3 hours on any group project. They have the passionate idea. You have what? Just figure out what you can do for their idea and get it done. Story 67. Alignment. If there is something you want to change about yourself, align it with your identity. Action is the end result of a long chain. Thoughts precede action, but identity is several layers deeper. For example, consider not drinking. An individual with a history of alcohol dependence trying to quit has to contend with the thought, should I drink right now? That thought doesn't cross a non-drinker's mind. It is not part of their identity. Create distance between the old you and the new you. Saying, I don't drink, is different from saying, I'm trying to quit. Engage in behaviors consistent with a non-drinker until your mind and body internalize that identity. For instance, not keeping alcohol in the house is an obvious start. You want to go to the gym regularly. The average person might set this goal for themselves but struggle to maintain it. This mental battle doesn't exist in the mind of someone who regularly exercises. Weightlifting is just something they do routinely, like showering or brushing their teeth. So much so that it would feel unusual not to do it. Because they are dedicated to fitness, this is part of their identity. This is a matter of alignment, not discipline. Discipline acts like grease in an engine, but it is not the main driver for people who excel at something. Take the same dedicated gym goer and ask them to do the dishes more often, and many of them will procrastinate. Everyone has objectively hard tasks they manage to complete and objectively easy tasks they struggle with. Look at gamers. Some people invest thousands of hours into a video game and become highly skilled at it. Even though video games require significant mental energy, people often become addicted to them. This is by design. Video games align with our reward systems and immerse people in a flow state where they can be completely absorbed in the task. Despite requiring substantial energy, they are enjoyable and addictive. And that is the key. If you want to excel at anything, make it part of your identity and align that task with your reward systems. If you want to eliminate a negative trait, Remove it from your identity. Reduce friction for positive habits and increase friction for negative habits. Figure out your goals and what motivates you, and treat them like challenges in a video game. Alignment will take you much farther than brute force. Imagine a cart on a track. If you push it perpendicularly to the track, it won't budge. If you push it at an angle, it will move but be challenging. You can choose to exert more force, but it would be easier to push it directly along the track. This illustrates the difference between discipline and alignment. Through this lens, building lasting habits and character traits is not merely a matter of doing. Rather, it is about becoming. I wanted to share this theory, but there are plenty of resources available online for concrete strategies. In summary, your life is like a video game. Think critically about how to build your character. Story 68. I was a grocery cashier dealing with customers who wanted me to ring up one last order quickly when I was supposed to be closing my line. Apparently, if you tell people, sorry, when they put up the closed sign, it signals the system to shut down after the current transaction. I can't override it. They believe you. Like all of them. Story 69. When you have people over, clean your place just shy of spotless, so you can gesture toward that one sweater draped over the chair or the 3 cups in the sink and say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry the house is such a mess. Voila, everyone thinks you're naturally tidy. Of course, your real friends know the truth. Story 70. I stopped paying for Amazon Prime last year. I order items occasionally, and it usually states 5 to 10 days for delivery. I still receive packages within 1 to 2 days. I suppose the automated systems at Amazon become idle and dispatch my items anyway. Story 71. Get your wife to decide on a place to eat. Babe, I'm taking you to that place you've been wanting to go to. Guess. Wherever she chooses, you go. Story 72. Learn how to issue a proper apology and how to accept a properly delivered apology to move on. It will greatly simplify your life. A proper apology consists of 3 key parts. 1. Acknowledge that you did the wrong thing that affected the other person. Convey your understanding of the negative impact it had on them. Explain what you have done or will do to mitigate the risk of committing such an error or offense in the future. Story 73. Place chicken bones and other strong-smelling items in a grocery bag in your freezer. Do not remove until garbage day. Your garbage will never smell. Note: we do not have babies or dogs, so there is no waste in the freezer. Story 74. This is very specific, but when painting customized action figures, I primarily use Sharpie creative markers instead of regular brush paint with primer or aerosol spray paint. They apply beautifully, providing a smooth matte finish that doesn't chip easily, dries quickly, and features brush tips with a fine point that are flexible, making it easier to get into tight spots and crevices. The only color I don't like is red, as it dries in a lighter shade rather than the deep red shade I prefer. If you've ever considered painting figures or small objects and want to avoid primer or traditional paint, I recommend getting the $20 multipack of Sharpie creative markers from Walmart. They are excellent. Story 75. If I can't remember a name, I go through the alphabet in my head and test a few names that start with each letter to see how they feel. Eventually, I reach the correct starting letter, and more than 70% of the time, the name just comes to me. Before, I found myself fixated on names beginning with a letter I was sure was correct, but it ended up being wrong. I doubt I'm the only person who does this, but I feel I came up with the idea independently. Story 76. If you're a regular anywhere and compliment people in a non-creepy way, you usually receive better service and sometimes even free items. For example, I used to buy deli sandwiches from my local grocery store that were fantastic. I complimented the employees' tattoos, and every time I did, I received the most deluxe sandwich with extra meat, while being charged for the bare minimum option. It went from around $12 to $5. Not exactly free, but I'll take it. Story 77. When speaking to customer service over the phone, always be friendly and polite. These conversations typically occur when an issue or frustrating problem arises, and it is easy to be short or rude. Being friendly often leads to a solution much faster. Story 78. If you whisper to a screaming toddler, They will often quiet down to hear what you have to say. If you include some barely audible words like ice cream or happy meal, you will get their attention very quickly. Story 79. Having a healthy marriage is essential. Life is much easier when you have a true teammate. Together, we can face the world, and it doesn't stand a chance against us. Story 80. If you want someone to like you, it can help to create a need and have them fulfill it in some way. In business settings, you could take what your boss already provides and create a need that they already meet. For example, you could say, "Thank you so much for X. I really appreciate it." Acting as if someone has done you a significant favor can help create a bond. Story 81. Check on top of vending machines for spare change. There is a semi-secret society in the United States, myself included, that leaves spare change from vending machines on top for future visits or other customers in a take a penny, leave a penny fashion. Story 82. Years ago, an old man told me a story from his younger years when he worked as a bartender at a club with a rowdy crowd. He mentioned that when he faced a couple of intoxicated patrons who were getting confrontational and about to fight, he would add syrup of ipecac, the substance used to induce vomiting in cases of poisoning, to one of their drinks. According to him, they would forget all about fighting and start vomiting instead. I later shared this story with a girlfriend whose husband had a serious alcohol problem and would become abusive. After a few weeks of this approach, the man became fearful that he had stomach cancer or something similar, and he quit drinking altogether. Story 83. Being polite and treating others with respect and dignity makes any interaction pleasant and helpful. I gain valuable insights into why things are the way they are and often have a great day afterwards. My wife is always astonished by how much I can receive for free and how many times people go above and beyond to assist me. I simply smile, respect others, and treat them as caring, living, and loving individuals, even if they don't seem to deserve it. Being polite and firm makes life much easier. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.